Kye and Yana, welcome to Sensory Overload.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for having
us.
us.
Going into the villa, didn't really know that each other were going to be in there.
I know Kye the most out of anyone, and I knew that he was going to go in there and hook up with the girls in my face.
Like, as soon as I walked in there, one of the boys said, "Is this the dickhead I got to knock out?" So that's why I flared my chest, sort of shoulder bumped and went, "Oh, I've got to fight this bloke on live television."
After the hotel, when I came back to Kye and people were like, "Why are you going back to him, Yana?" It's like, yeah, in the real world, I wouldn't have. If he was in a hotel sleeping with another girl, no, I wouldn't be back with him the next day.
At about 10 to 12, like the parents started fighting, there was a lot of alcohol, a lot of arguments and whatnot. And I think it sort of, I sort of got used to that.
I was trying to get the stab back at him too by going on, and then he was also thinking I was going to be watching it, and he was going to be like, "Fuck you, watch me hook up with all these girls."
Yeah. Kye and Yana, welcome to Sensory Overload.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
It's like take two, girl.
Take two.
Kye was actually sitting here listening to the whole episode with Yana, so he's getting a feel of it. Are you feeling a little bit nervous?
Bit nervous, yeah.
That's okay. This thing is all about just opening up and being your true authentic self, and don't be nervous. Just be you and just answer honestly. Honestly, how are you? How's it
good.
been?
It's been good. It's been hard for me, actually. It's been a lot.
Yeah.
Big change, obviously, from being a carpenter to
I can imagine.
big social media presence, and it's a bit difficult. Big change. Yeah.
Are you feeling it like you want to go down that path now?
Yeah, well, I
happening?
do. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best. Like, it is hard. You don't realise how hard it really is.
I can imagine being thrown into it. Like, props to you, because being thrown into something like that would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, well, come from someone that was so private, didn't have anyone but my family and friends, didn't like Yana said before, didn't like posting, didn't like anyone else knowing my business or stuff like that, and then having to go public and then everyone knowing everything about me. So
I can imagine.
yeah.
I think it's so funny, like, remember when you were younger, you look at how many likes you get on the Instagram photos? You probably never experienced
Yeah, that was like followers, back in the day when you first got it.
No, when they came off the show, the boys were all they were like playing this game, like who got more followers that week. Like,
Yeah, everyone's like
Kye would be like, I was shocked because I saw Kye like refreshing his page, like going, "Oh yes, I hit
It's
20K."
it's a dopamine hit.
Yeah,
It
like
is.
when me and Connor, I'm beating you this today, and then he's like, "Oh, I got
It
you
was
back."
so funny because I've never experienced that with him. Like, obviously I've had that before, but
Yeah.
seeing Kye like be so onto it like that, I was like, oh my gosh.
It's such like a dopamine hit. And it
Yeah.
gets so toxic. Like, you're like, when that drops off, you're like, fuck, like, what the fuck? This is like,
Yeah, but also
Yeah.
like when you hit, like, say you go to 10K or something like that, when you get to that stage, you've been hyping yourself up, and then you get there and you're like, wait,
This
now
is
what?
you're like, oh,
Like,
fuck.
what's next?
Now 100K. It's like,
Yeah,
it's always next,
there's
next,
always
next.
the next.
And it never goes away. Literally,
Wait, my phone's buzzing. Sorry, I'll just put
That's
it over there.
it never goes away. I still, if my videos are performing like shit, I'm like, nah, career's done. Career's fucking
No,
done.
yeah, I feel that
I hate
too.
I hate it. Like, actually, the mental aspect of it is a lot. So I can just imagine what it'd be like going on the show straight off the bat. That's fucking crazy. But I think there's a lot to you that not a lot of people got to see and understand. I see these massive walls being put up, especially on the show, and watching how that went down.
Yeah.
I just said it to you before. There was so much opportunity for you to open up and just be fucking vulnerable for a second.
Yeah, well,
Let it happen.
it's just hard on a show, everything's so heightened, always in defense mechanism, you don't want, sort of feel vulnerable in those situations. It was like 10 on 1 at stages when I first walked in. No one liked me. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, like I was always on edge. Like, it was
tongue
hard.
was out.
Yeah. Smoking, completely stopped that. So no nicotine. That was hard. So I didn't even
Fuck.
know I was, doing this tongue thing or chewing my bottle.
Yeah.
It's just, a habit that I didn't
It's
know
like an
I had,
anxiety
but
thing
yeah.
too.
And yeah, obviously nerves.
Yeah. I think... I honestly couldn't even imagine doing that. Like, my anxiety, I always like tap or
No, yeah, always have to move.
or doing that, or like if I don't have my phone, I feel so anxious. Like that's like my safety net.
No, I thought I was gonna be fucked without my phone because I'm like always on it, but then,
Exactly.
I thought I was always gonna be anxious without my phone too, but when I went into the villa and didn't have a phone, I feel like because you genuinely can't reach your phone, I loved it. Like I think about days now and I'm like, I just want to get put back into the villa to have no phone.
I want to do it so bad.
It felt like I finally stopped working because work's on the phone. You know this. Like you can be up till midnight still doing work on your phone.
Yeah.
But in the villa, like it felt like such a relief to not have a phone.
The amount of times I've like wanted to run away to Bali and just do like a no phone retreat.
Yeah.
And just go off.
You should do it.
I really want to,
because the villa was so therapeutic for that.
Okay. Did it feel like because you had the villa phones?
I know you could actually tell that heaps of people were still going on it, and all they could do was just look at the photos.
I remember the first couple days we were grabbing for it, and like you'd grab it and you'd be like, "Oh wait, fuck! There's nothing I can do on here.
There's nothing that
Why am I grabbing it?
That you can do. It's like when you go to like go on the flight. And you're you're on flight mode, and you still like grab. Oh, who's messaging me? But nothing happens. But all of those things and those anxieties, obviously, you had a life before going into the villa.
Yeah.
I want to take it right back and just understand you as a person. Where did you grow up? How was your childhood?
All right. Born Narrabeen till about 4. Moved up to Terry Hills. You know, grew up with a good family. You know, nothing wrong. Pretty privileged. You know, did everything I wanted to almost as a kid. Had a good lifestyle. I think at about 10 to 12, you know, like the parents started fighting. You know, there was a lot of alcohol, you know, a lot of arguments and whatnot. And I think, it sort of, you know, I sort of got used to that. And
was that between your parents?
My parents, yeah. And then on my 12th birthday or 13th birthday, my parents split up on my birthday.
On your birthday?
Yeah, so I think after then, like going from house to house, and my mum moved back to Narrabeen. Dad stayed up in Terry Hills.
Was that like a big blow up thing?
Well, it was like over time. It was sort of just normal for me, you know. Like Dad was drinking, and you know, Mum and him were arguing, you know. But it was like just normal for me, you know. But then on my birthday, like not having them together was like, oh yeah, well, here we go. This is a different change for me. So then having to go to Narrabeen to Terry Hills as well was sort of just a big thing going into high school and that.
But I want to dive into that a bit. Going on your birthday, did that distinctive event happen?
I think it was a lot of stress, you know, like trying to make my birthday good, I guess. And then, you know, beers were going and whatnot. And then it sort of just was like, well, we've had enough of this, you know, like it's not going to work. So then, they just, you know, set paths. I knew it was probably due. So,
yeah. As a 12-year-old boy, was that like, what the fuck? Like,
I know, well, I sort of didn't know what was going on. Yeah, it was
I want a new bike. I didn't want my parents to split up.
My soccer ball.
The fuck?
Yeah, no, it was sort of normal, you know, but at the same time, it was like, well, this was my day, you know, and then, you know, I started, you know, mucking up a bit at school, going blah, 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 you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it sort of just, you know, that sort of was a bit of a part to where I started sort of shift and change into being a bit of a knockabout and, like, started, you know, exploring, you know, some pharmaceuticals and whatnot.
Good job,
that's a good word.
You know, and
no, I feel that. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I started at a very young age, like that. No one did. You know, I started when I got to about. I was hanging out with my older brothers and they're his mates, and you know, up there was not. I didn't really have many friends that did what I did, and then I started hanging out with my brothers and his mates, and then sort of gradually moved on.
And they were like 10 years older, weren't they?
Well, my brother and his mates were 2 years older, so then they were doing shit. I just started high school by then. And then, so I was hanging out with them. They were getting up to a bit of mischief too. So I was, you know, just trying to fit in with them, trying to, like, as you do, look up to your older brothers and whatnot. And then I sort of drifted off and ended up hanging out with, I was about 15, hanging out with like 23-year-olds, like giving them a run for their money, trying to be like them.
Yeah.
Getting myself in a bit of trouble, you know, trying to do what they were doing, trying to overdo what they were doing, you know, just.
Yeah.
And I was running them around a bit, so sort of
I understand
got in a bit of trouble and, you know, and I think that's sort of based off all that. But yeah, and then I sort of pulled myself out of that. I got in trouble a bit and really ended up somewhere I didn't want to be. And then, yeah, ended up moving back down to Narrabeen with mum.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, found a good bunch of boys and footy and, sort of changed my ways a bit. Yeah.
I think there's one thing that you said before is that arguing felt normal.
Yeah, well, you grow up with it in that sort of age where, you're learning a lot and you start taking in a lot more than being a kid. Like that's that age where you start, starting to hit puberty and, you start looking up to, your family or you start seeing things in different eyes. And then, yeah, obviously thought it was just normal. Like my nan and pop were the same. My grandma and grandma, like there was a lot of drinking in my family, but it was just normal, big Aussie family. And it was just normalised. Like, so I didn't think anything like else of it really.
Yeah. As a young child, that would become normal. Yeah. That's what I experienced that as well. Like growing up, that was such a big part of my childhood. Do you look back now and like, fuck, like this explains so many things and post Villa, post everything.
Yeah, well, like in the sense, like it made me realise things. I grew up a lot faster, hanging out with a lot older people and get myself in a bit of trouble. It made me grow up and realise that I was acting a lot older than I was, and it made me grow up a lot faster. So I ended up stopping doing things when people were starting at, 17, 18, and I had already done it all. And I was like, well, I'm sort of over this shit now.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that. So it did make me realise like a lot. Like I'm sort of glad that all happened to me very early on because I did things that a lot of people didn't do till, they finished school and now they're sort of drifting off in that life. And it's like, well, I've sort of pulled myself out now when it really matters,
Did you feel support from people that should have supported you at that age when you're doing that with a lot older people?
Look, like that wasn't really support, like I was obviously a muck about, like I was doing my own thing and didn't really care what anyone had to say, I was sort of at that part of my life, I was just like, no one can really tell me what to do. I used to think like at some point, going to jail was a part of life, just seeing people do it. I just thought it was normal and that I used to go home and be like, well, like if this happens, this happens. Like it's normal too with who I was hanging out with and what I was doing.
Yeah.
So, it was a big wake up call in that sense. Like,
was it ever a big, like, was it ever something that, like that, was there ever an event that happened that gave you that wake up call?
Yeah, well, there was an incident, I'm not going to get into it, where, it was a big shock to me and, had, some incidents where, I could have, and I was very lucky that I was, under the age where, I was a slap on the wrist and, they couldn't get me done for things, but in saying that, that was definitely the biggest wake up call for me. Like, me saying that this is normal is definitely not normal. Seeing everyone come around me, my family and that, like all come in together going like, what are you doing? And then like realising that there's a lot of love there and that, this isn't something that I should be doing. Yeah. And then, it was pretty much a turning point for me after that.
It's amazing that you can distinct that as well. And I think even with you guys, listening to your story and your story, they're quite similar but opposite, where you both feel like you're so independent and you've created this life because you're forced into this sort of independency and hyper independency. I can see how you guys have come together. Like I can see where that trauma bond could start from such a young age, but yet so differently. But from such a young age into dating, I can understand how prior going on to the show and being together, how that couldn't have been the best position for you guys to be in to give each other the best relationship. So you guys broke up before going into the villa.
Yeah.
What age did you start dating?
Each other? Or
yeah.
other people?
Like
you were like 18, 19 or something?
I think we were 18. When was it? 2023? Was it 2023 November? November 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So still young, quite young.
Yeah, quite young.
For like a serious relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how both your upbringings landed you in that position of that relationship.
Yeah, well, now that you've explained that, it does make sense. Like, we both got pushed into kind of taking things into our own hands and, like, realising things from such a young age. I think that definitely could have helped our bond. But Kai and I are such similar people in the way that we think, and, like, the things that we do too. Like, we like all the same sports as each other. We're always out and about. Like, we really like doing the same things as each other, and I think that's one of the other big things that we were able to create our bond from, was enjoying the same things as each other.
Yeah. I feel like I just like seeing you guys together, and that link there where it's like, I can imagine if I was in that position, because I feel like all three of us have a very similar upbringing in the terms of independence and having to do that. That link of being each other's like rocks at such a young age, when you might not feel that same emotion from either family, friends, or other people that are meant to be there. Also with your family and how that was normal for you, and going into a relationship, like, that's no recipe for success. And the fact that I think where I hurt for you guys is that the public image and representation of your relationship is from when you're 18, and going through that's hard enough at that age, but you're also growing as people. It makes so much sense why that downfall happened.
Yeah.
Like, that's so important, I think, for anybody's context. They're watching a relationship that's developed over years.
Yeah, it's not just happened in the villa. Like, we had such a huge past, and there was so much to our relationship before, in our last relationship, to just in the villa. And, like, something in the villa too, like, there were a lot of comments saying Yana and Kye got together so fast, like, she just gave in so fast. But it's like, guys, I knew him for like 2-3 years. Like, I know this guy. It's so easy for me to fall back into, you know, being comfortable with him and everything. It's not just a random guy. So
I feel like it's like a safety net.
Yeah, well, that's what I started to feel before we actually started getting together, was like when Kye was giving me those hugs after the chat with Mateo. Like, I felt very safe having Kye around, and I feel like
I got chills. That's just.
But like,
I can imagine how that.
Yeah, like, he knew me. No one else did, and it was really hard as well to like try find a connection when I've got someone that knows me so well, that I've had a connection with.
Yeah. In
the same place as me. Like, that was really hard, that I was meant to just, oh yeah, my ex is here, all good, just move on, try to find one of the other 4 boys, see if you can get a connection with them. Like, it just wasn't bound to happen.
Also, just being in a villa, that also is like a replication of your family.
Yeah, and your
That's
home,
your support.
you're living, like, you're
100%.
living, you're making breakfast with each other, you know, you're waking up together, you're getting ready, you're playing by the pool, he's always there, like.
Yeah. I think going back into entering that relationship when you're 18, your perception of how love was, I bet you is very different now to what it was going into that relationship.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I wasn't 18. I was 2 years older, obviously. But, like, I've only ever had another girlfriend before then, and that was pretty, you know, rocky as well. You know, it's just a big learning curve too. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you know, you're learning so much about what love it really is as a child, you know. Like, my first one was at like 17, 18 as well. And, you know, like, just trying to learn what real love is, like, in the sense of not just having it there, is difficult to then, you know, try and start again and just learn off your mistakes from the first one and then try and not carry them into the second one. I feel like it's just imprinted in your, you know, in your brain from, you know, like,
from a child going through adolescence.
I guess, you could say that in a way that it's just there and it's just reoccurring. So it's hard to sort of, you know, move away from that.
When you look back at that relationship from 18 and 20, how do you describe that? and what that relationship was at the time, looking back now?
Just messy, you know, teenagers. I guess I just didn't really know what it was, you know, just it's hard to say, you know. It's something that everyone obviously experiences differently, but I feel like, you know, it takes time to figure out.
Yeah, growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And did you ever feel that sense of love you feel now? Did you ever feel like you felt that or recognize what that was at that age?
Yeah, like I thought I knew what love was and that, you know.
How does that perception change now from now to before?
Well, like just, you know, like the raw feeling, you know, knowing you can come home and, you know, speak about me personally was I've always bottled stuff up and never really talked about my feelings, you know. Even in the last relationship I never would, you know. It was sort of, you know, I'm that tough guy, you know, didn't want to, you know, I was a bit of a mug in that sense, you know. So like, I was never really full, you know. I was always, you know, walls up, always guarded, you know, trying to be that, you know, bloke in the relationship where like you didn't show emotion or anything like that. But now it's like obviously coming off the show this time around. So that was almost like the same time, the first time around with Yana, and then the second time now off the show, you know, just communication massive. Like we never communicated properly. So just us bottling it all up and then just releasing on each other in arguments and that was obviously what I've carried through, and that could have been back from when I was a child, you know.
100%, yeah. I feel like even like for me personally, growing up, I never felt that feeling of love or feeling wanted. I always felt like it was like I was a misfit, or I always yearned for someone to make me feel like I didn't need to prove myself, or I didn't need someone to make me feel like I wasn't a problem for being there, or I wasn't, you know, work being there. I think also growing up and like even being in my first relationship and what love meant then, I never felt that feeling until my last relationship, that safety net, that trauma bond, and that feeling of just like wanting them, especially when they're away. It's when you recognize that and what that means.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that's like so unmatched. It's something, but when you're younger, you're like, oh, like I just want to have sex with them, or
Yeah.
Pretty much.
like if I don't want to kiss you, then I'm not interested in you.
Yeah.
It's not as deep as what you find out when you grow and you go through life. How do you feel about it now?
I mean,
in terms of love.
I mean, I've never felt better with Yana. You know, everything that people speak about is like what I'm feeling now. You know, I've never felt this good with Yana. Like coming off the show, like we've both grown so much. It was toxic, obviously, before the show, and there's obviously reasons why that ended. And now I feel like, you know, that nothing can break us. That bond's so good. The trust is there. We never really had the trust from before. There was a lot of issues early on, and we never really come across to building that trust. It was sort of just, you know, like she says, tit for tat or whatever.
Yeah.
Thought I might love you again. See how I feel.
But
Sorry,
yeah, like now it's unbreakable. I feel like we're really good, and yeah.
I think people would love to just see, you know, how this has developed. Going into the villa, as we said in last episode, didn't really know that each other were going to be in there. When you were going in there, were you kind of feeling those same reasons for going into the villa, to distract yourself or try and move on or heal in your own sense, and using the villa as that source?
Yeah, definitely. I was so yeah, I seen on the TikTok she was gonna be on there. Like she asked, you know, she got asked ages ago. It was months before they messaged me, and I was on a farm with my work partner, and they've hit me up, and I was like, my account just got scammed. So I only had about 200 followers, and they've hit me up and going, "You're a scam, piss off, like, leave me alone. I don't know this shit again."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, we want to chat, whatever." End up getting into it, and then I was like, well, obviously she might be on there. Like, fuck, why else do they want me on here? I've got 200 followers. How do they know? They're like, your tagged photos. The only tagged I had on that account was Yana. And I'm like, fuck.
Were you both kind of feeling that like yearn for hopefully rekindling, like how romanticizing that could be?
Not before the show. On the show, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, like maybe the stars are aligning. Maybe they've put us in here for a reason. Like, I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. So I thought, if Kye's in here, if Lacey's just got dumped, if they're trying to make me save Kye, like, it all must be happening because of something.
Yeah.
And that's why.
I went in there completely saying, like, I'm moving on. I was telling my mum and that. I was like, moving on, watch this. Like, she's going to hate this. Like, just full blow my brothers and that. Like, fuck, if I get on this, like, oh my God.
So
like,
you're kind of anticipating that she's going to be on there?
No, like just to like even if she's like not just to stab back, going look at me now. You think you're all this on social media? Look, I'm gonna be on TV. You're gonna be watching me. You know, sort of.
So you're still playing tit for tat.
So we were still doing the tit for tat because I was trying to get the stab back at him too by going on, and then he was also thinking I was going to be watching it, and he was going to be like, "Fuck you, watch me hook up with all these girls."
Yeah. Like I thought, like there was obviously that idea that she could be on there, but as soon as I got there too, they showed me the lineup of girls, and Yana wasn't on there, and I was like, "Fuck, yeah, righto." Like, all right, mad. Like she's going to be watching me. I'm like, "Oh yeah." Like Alex, the producer's like, "Look at these." I'm like, I'm going in and just going all guns blazing. Like I don't care, whatever. And then obviously I walk in, boom, like.
What was that feeling like? Because I feel like you portrayed that, you know, you were this big dog walking in, arms out.
Well,
I can imagine the anxiety going in there, that wall being thrown up. Walking in.
Obviously thought that I was gonna get a nicer entrance. Oh yeah, look, that's my boyfriend. You know, we weren't on good terms and that, but I didn't think it was gonna be 10 on 1. Like as soon as I walked in there, one of the boys said, "Is this the dickhead I got to knock out?" So that's why I flared my chest, sort of shoulder bumped and went, "Oh, I'm going to fight this bloke on live television." I'm like, fuck, here we go. I've been in here for 5 seconds. Like, and then
you just put into a corner.
And then none of the girls wanted to bar me. We went down the bottom. She's obviously, you know, yapped about what's going on. And yeah, it was hard. Like, I wasn't eating, sleeping for about 5 days. Like, just back against the wall, just fight or flight, really. So it was hard.
I can imagine. I think there was such opportunity for you to just embrace that. And when Yana sat you down and all the girls were drilling you, I seen that shit. I called Yana after and I was like, oh my God, this fucking guy. And I was like, I just wish there would have been some sense of just emotional openness, like being able to open up. I think so many people would have understood that so much more than that wall. But I can understand why that wall would have gone up being pushed into
just
such a corner.
Instantly. I've walked in there, go and say hi to everyone. None of the blokes like me. Go down there, get absolutely sprayed by all the girls. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, like, and just I don't know how to do that, you know, like it's just not in my coping mechanism to just open up and be like, yeah, this. And I've just obviously got shut down and gone, you know, and I just, you know, obviously spray back. I'm not going to let like 10 people just have a go at me. Like, so especially all the nerves too, everything's heightened. I'm not this camera sense person. Like, so I'm just walking straight in, cameras everywhere, like getting filmed by meter long cameras in front of me. I'm sitting there like, what have I done? Like,
did you feel like you wanted to push him into that corner? And in the sense of like,
I was
fuck,
like, yeah, well, when he first walked in, I'm like, I think the reason that I created such a fuss was because I was like, fuck you for ruining my moment. Like, I came on here to get away, move on. You've come in here. I know exactly what you're going to do.
Home.
I just knew, like, I know Kye the most out of anyone. And I knew that he was going to go in there and hook up with the girls in my face, you know, to get a stab back. Yeah. Like, when I saw him first walk in, I knew that he was going to be, you know, trying to rub shit in my face.
Yeah.
Because that was the kind of guy that he was, like, the tip for tat. Yeah. I knew that I was on the show, and so seeing him walk in, I knew that he was going to be like, fuck you. Yeah. And also, he walked in I'd been in there for 4 days, so at the end of the day, he would have been thinking the worst coming in. Yana slept with all the boys in here. Like, he didn't know.
I guess, like, you'd want to prove that, like, no girl touch him. Like, you'd want to also, like, prove, like,
Yeah, well, I feel
your
like,
trauma as well, and be like, this is what I've been through. Like,
well, and because through lunch and dinner, we weren't allowed to talk content. So all of us girls, all we would talk about was our exes, our past relationships. So yeah, before Kai came in, I trauma dumped to these girls about our past and everything like that. So these girls already had an idea who Kai was, because we all did. Like, we all knew about our past situationships because we had spoken about it. And so I think that's another thing that cut deep was when he walked in, was like, with Lacey, was like seeing how she just disregarded all that and my feelings and just went straight for it.
yeah,
It.
it's straight for it.
Yeah.
That'd be the hardest thing, I think, even for both of you. When did that urge come back that you're like, I'm getting butterflies, I'm getting, like, nervous, like, I kind of want to...
Well, mine actually wasn't like after that full spray. I was like, there's no way like anything will ever work with her again.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, so like I'm doing my own thing now. Like, whatever you do, it's not phasing me. Like, you've done this already. I've been here for whatever 2 seconds. You know, like, I was like, nothing's gonna work. Like, it's already like that. Yeah. So I honestly just didn't think anything was gonna work again after that. But yeah, like until.
You built that resentment up where you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, I was like, are you kidding? Like, not even a hike high, just like... Yeah. So I was just like, fuck off. Like, I don't want to bar with you.
Yeah. So at what point did that change?
Well, was it me going home first?
Yeah,
or was it you and... Yeah, me going home with Cooper. I thought I was walking around going, it's my birthday. Like,
All this shit happens on your birthday, doesn't it?
I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I was like, imagine I'm going home on my birthday, like walking around going, it's not gonna happen. Like, and these producers would have been like, oh, we're cooking something up here, like sucked in. Like, and I'm walking around, I was like thinking to myself, I've just manifested. I'm up there with Coops, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I've just manifested myself going home on my birthday. There was no way in hell I thought she was choosing me. I was like, I'm going home. Like, we didn't like each other. We weren't really getting along. And yeah, I was like, well, I've just manifested myself going home on my birthday, and then. You know, obviously getting saved, I was like, wow.
Let's dive into that. When did it happen for you? Where you would even choose that? Because I know so many people out there would be like,
yeah, wondering why the fuck.
Fuck my ex off this island and get him out of here.
Yeah, so I think by that stage it had been maybe a few days. I don't know how long that was. I think a few days that Kai had been in the villa, and I think that day... Obviously, Lacey did the birthday thing for him, and I think at that stage that was the day that I literally spent that whole date thing in the beach hut, just bawling my eyes out, talking to the producer, just like, yeah, just letting everything go. And I think I needed that to be able to let go of my sadness in a way. And I remember that night, I got up and I was like, I'm okay. Like, I'm just going to let Kai and Lacey do their thing. I'm here for myself. I'm not here for Kai. I'm here for myself and my own experience. So, yeah, I'm just going to let them be. And honestly, at that stage in my head too, I was like, there's no chance that Kai and I would ever get back. Like, this is not going to work. It's going to be him and Lacey. And then I got put in the position of choosing out of Cooper or Kai. And again, at that stage, still,
You're like, fuck Cooper.
Well, like, honestly, standing up, I didn't know who I was going to pick. Like, I was so unsure. But like I was saying before, with Kai, I've known him for so long, and I did have that safety feeling. Like, I felt, in a way, safe having Kai around. Whereas with Cooper, I didn't feel too safe. Like, I didn't know him, and from some of the signs he was showing, I didn't feel safe. And I knew that if I picked Cooper, I'd be in a bed with him. If I sent Kai home, Lacey would be upset, Kai would be upset. Yeah. Mind you, back at home, Kai's friend group is my friend group. Like, we're all in the same area. So I would have just felt like a cunt as well.
100%.
Sending, like, someone who I do respect. And I, like, obviously with everything going on, it didn't seem like it. But I did respect him, and I did you know, respect that he was also there for his own experience. So I thought
Which I feel like this is the pivotal moment where you, like, after the whole relationship going through tit for tat and bottling your own feelings up, where you had to put that feeling first and make that vulnerable decision to open yourself up, because that kind of would have been your sign to be like, okay,
Yeah,
she's
well,
open.
yeah, 100%. Well, no, it was like, oh, I've never seen this side of her before. So then that's when the sign started. Like
you were like, I
seeing
see
it,
those.
like, oh,
I know those eyes. So,
you can tell. I can tell. Like there's still something there.
But in the midst of all this,
so before I said Kai, I think what changed it for me was the hug and how appreciative he was of me saving him. I think that's when I switched and I was like, wait.
It felt like you didn't say anything. It just
the hug. It was just the hug. Like, it came from the heart. I'd never experienced before that a hug like that.
Yeah.
From Kai, and it just,
did you? It showed a lot of what Yana was going through on the show before obviously all that happened. And obviously post, you know, the villa while you were away, the hotel while you were away.
Yeah.
Did you see what she was going through during that, or was it the massive eye opener after?
From what part?
Like seeing me crying,
seeing her cry, upset, and
I'd pretty much never seen any of that. Like, I've seen like her get upset sometimes, but most of the time they would call her into the beach huts and that. And then when I was with Lacey, sort of doing my own thing, I had no idea that she really gave a fuck. You know, like you don't see any of that bit because she's, you know, obviously having breakdowns or whatever.
I'd be crying in the makeup room. Like, I was always very secretive about my emotions. I never wanted to see him see me cry.
Did that hurt for you to watch that back?
Yeah, well, nothing really was easy to watch back for me, the whole show. I thought I handled everything differently to how I did, you know, and it was probably the worst part of my day, going home and having to watch any of it, really.
Well, I can imagine, but like, especially like your direct actions and seeing that in-person moment and how that directly affects somebody. And there's that scene with Gabby crying, and Gabby's really upset at what Jotham had done to her, and you're in the kitchen, and I don't know if it's the edit.
Yeah, no, everyone thought it was the edit, but that was exactly how they showed it on TV, was exactly how it was. Gabby was talking and we were pretty much communicating through eyes. Like, I was looking at him and I was like pretty much saying like, this is exactly how I feel, listen to Gabby. And I think he like was also looking back at me like acknowledging it. Did you acknowledge that?
Yeah, was that like
too?
a acknowledgement?
Do you remember what part we're talking about?
You're talking
when
about
you're in the kitchen with the tea.
Are you talking about when Jotham came back with old mate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually started speaking to Gabby, but they cut that out.
Yeah.
I said, I know I've done pretty much the exact same thing, but like, I hope you're feeling all right. Like,
yeah,
you see it right at the end, and then you just cut it out, and I was like...
But in that moment, and you're seeing another girl be so upset and
about
react
doing
that
the
way,
same thing,
about doing that same thing, and you're acknowledging that you did the same thing.
Yeah.
How did how did that feel? Like,
it's hard, you know, like
that responsibility and that ownership to be like, fuck, I did
some pretty shit things. Yeah, well, it's always hard seeing someone upset, you know, with something that you've done. Yeah, like watching it back, it is probably, you know, in the moment you're like, oh, you sort of try palming off, but when you're sitting there with millions of people watching the same shit and then having their 2 cents, and then you're watching it going, oh, and then everyone's in here. Like, it's so much harder rewatching everything that you've done.
Is it like an embarrassment?
Or yeah, obviously, you know, like, I'm obviously not proud of it. I'm not going to say I would change it. Like, look, everything that happened on the show, like, obviously got us to where we are today, and I'm not proud of it, but I wouldn't change it for the better, you know. I think there's things that have happened for a reason, and I don't think if I didn't do those things, like, me and Yana wouldn't be here like this today.
I don't think so either, honestly. And I think this is the important part. This is something I really want to highlight, and how people are comparing your old relationship to your new relationship, but anybody that is also comparing their relationship to yours. I think anybody this is not a normal scenario to be put on a TV show, to be forced to talk about your feelings and open up and grow as people. That's not normal. And I think anybody that's also comparing their relationship to maybe like, I should get back with my ex, or I should do this with my ex. this isn't the same scenario. Cause
No, not at all.
Not
And
at
that's
all.
something that I really want to preface with people is like, we are not here to tell you to get back with your ex on the show. And even after the hotel, when I came back to Kai and people were like, why are you going back to him, Yana? It's like, yeah, in the real world, I wouldn't have. If he was in a hotel sleeping with another girl, no, I wouldn't be back with him the next day. But I'm stuck in a villa with no interest in anyone else, and all I have to face is my problem.
Yeah.
So I'm going to face it and talk to him about it and try to resolve it and see how we can move forward and learn from the mistakes. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, in the real world, like every other person watching, no, like I wouldn't have gone back to him as fast as I did, but we weren't in the real world.
Yeah. Was there some sort of resentment from being in the island as well, that was watching each other get to know other people, that it kind of felt calming to just be at peace with not having to deal with those emotions?
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Neither do I. You stumped me.
Sorry.
Being like watching each other date other people and having those emotions of jealousy and anger, to now being in each other's pocket, working on those things head on. Did you kind of feel some sort of just calmness to
I still don't get it.
You don't understand?
Well, like, I didn't have those feelings, you know, until we were just put back together.
Well, that's
and then that's when it grew. So for me, in saying that, like, it didn't cross my mind in that sense. Like, I wasn't, because I was like, so you do you. I don't care what you do. Watching her do her thing, I was so happy with it. I was like, if you're happy, I'm happy, whatever.
Yeah.
And then obviously the feelings grew, but by the time that I started, you know, falling back for her, like, she wasn't after anyone else. So like, I don't really have that, you know, that feeling that you're saying. But
but for Yana, like, you obviously didn't like him talking to Lacey and watching that go down. Would not have felt easy.
It wasn't really that. It was more like, obviously it was hard to see an ex that you were once in love with and, you know, had that relationship with do things in your face when I think as well, if I had someone else that I clicked with, it would have been easier, but I didn't have anyone else that I was like, oh my God, like, we can create a relationship. So I felt alone, and I was like, I've come here to create, you know, my happy fairy tale love story, and I'm now watching my ex-boyfriend with one of the girls that was in the villa create a relationship, hook up in my face. Like, that was really hard. And I think
that's what I'm kind of getting at, is like, did you feel at peace in that moment when you guys were able to just be together to work on those relationship problems and work through it? And maybe that's why you guys were able to do that, because you're in that position to focus just on each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Take that away.
Well, yeah, definitely. And also for us, a big thing was communication. We, again, didn't have good communication in our last relationship. And one thing that we did learn was we spoke very highly of each other to other people. So I would have Tamara, Shan, like those girls coming up to me being like, oh, Kai said this about you. And I'm like, what? I've never heard him say that to me, to my face. Like, why has he never come and said that to me? And I even pulled him up and said that to him. But I think Kai and I were both just very, like, ego-driven people. And and so we never wanted to, it's not that we didn't want to put each other up, but, like, you know, we would never say to each other, I'm proud of you, like, congrats, stuff like that. But I think in the villa we kind of learned to do those things and actually appreciate the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's where people resignated, and everyone has a toxic ex, and everyone has a relationship that didn't work out, or a situationship that hurt them. And a lot of it does come down just to people in certain areas of their life that aren't developed enough or emotionally mature or emotionally open enough to even deal with those things, which is why I think that you guys won. Which, congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope you spent your 15K wisely.
No, I didn't.
But
I did.
Lawyers.
You don't need to get.
No, don't get into that.
Oh, right, no.
We don't need to go into. But I kind of want to ask after.
It was just for his clothing brand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it has received so much backlash now that you guys have gotten together that people still don't understand that relationship and how that is and that growth.
Yeah, and to be honest, they don't have to. Like you don't have to understand our relationship. At the end of the day, you don't know us as far as the TV goes. Like, we spent 3 years of our relationship that no one watched. No one really saw that side of it. They just saw us in the villa. So yeah, if you don't understand it, that's okay. But
I'm probably hearing all the worst things as well.
yeah, you're seeing the worst. Obviously, TV, they want drama, so they're going to make it as bad as it was, dramatize it as bad as it is. But yeah, I think people need to just remember we were in a villa. We weren't in the real world.
Yeah.
Like, the villa was not real world.
I don't know how it works, but it works. Does magic to your head. I reckon I aged like 5 years in there. Like,
Yeah.
the maturity level of me coming out, even my family and friends are like,
That's
mate,
actually
you're
something.
a
I was gonna
changed
say,
person.
you
Like,
can string a sentence along now. Like,
Yeah.
like you can.
At the start, he couldn't. But even coming back, like, our first phone call with his parents and my parents, like, we got a text after and they were like, you sound so mature. Like, just, if you think about it, for a guy that has never opened up, never talked about his emotions, you go in the beach huts maybe 3 or 4 times a day for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, you're all talking because there's nothing else to do. You're talking shit and eating. So for a guy, that does a lot to their brain to 100%. Have to, like, talking, like, about their emotions and everything. And even coming out, like, Kye's friends are all the same as what Kye was before, where they don't open up and talk, but there's been a few cases where Kye's been able to sit down with his mates and been like, no, you can openly talk about this, and it gets them on a real deep level. And I've sat there and I've been like, wow, like, Kye's now bringing what he learnt through the villa into real life and pass it on to his mates, because they're now being able to talk and open up about their emotions. Like, grown men actually talking about their emotions on a deep level it was so crazy to see, and I'd never...
Well, it's like you're kind of thrown into the deep end.
Yeah. I think as well, talking about, like, asking other people in there about their relationships and where their toxic sides are and what they've learned from their relationships. We're probably the youngest people in there.
That was the other thing,
like,
watching...
The others are 29, 28 years old. Like, Sean, Ross, 28, 27, Connor, Izzy sort of thing. Like, seeing them and their growth, or, like, just maturity levels and being stuck in there. Like, and only talking to them for so long, like, you start learning, oh, wow, like, this is what I should do, this and that. So, like, in that sense, I do think they help me a lot, because even speaking to, like, Yana or Gabby, like, I feel like, you know, like, we didn't have that maturity sense of, obviously, a nearly 30-year-old, you know. There's a 10-year gap, you know.
Yeah,
there's a big difference, you know.
Sean would always pull Kye would always pull Sean to, like, just talk about things, like, because they were mature, like, they had been through relationships and, you know, done all that. So Sean was a big one for me. I'd always go to her for advice. She was like a big sister to me. Yeah. And I would always be like, this is how I feel. And she'd be like, she'd give me such good advice on how to feel and what
Which
to
is
do.
like, they always say that you are who you surround yourself with. And that's such a real thing. And especially in this industry where everything is filmed, everything's put on the internet that you can watch back. Like, you're probably going to look back at this episode in 6 months and be like, holy fuck, like, even then we've learned so much since then. And you're forced to tackle that head on, which is amazing. The fact that you're bringing that into even your mates and how that is with them, that just proves that.
Yeah, no, that felt so special that time. I was just sitting there listening to Kye, letting his mates open up when... You know, 3 months ago, Kye couldn't even open up and form a sentence along. Like.
Yeah, it's good for them to, you know, also, like, have trust in someone. You know, there's such a big nostalgia about men and, you know, not speaking up and that. And, you know, it's good. Like,
how do you feel about that? That whole thing, like, growing up around people that were older than you, I guess that whole sense of being in the villa with people that are older than you, you've done that your whole life. You've hung out with people that are a lot older than you, acting ways that you probably shouldn't have been at that age. How do you feel that plays into effect of looking back now?
Well, I just think, you know, growing up real young, but then not I don't know. I don't think it really like took effect being that from there. I think that just the effect of, you know, now being able to speak down on younger people and like telling them what I didn't learn from that young age. I obviously went down the wrong path at that early age till I went on the show pretty much. Like, so being able to, you know, talk to my mates and or talk down onto younger people that, you know, are trying to look up to the older people, you know, not to hold things in and not to, you know, bottle things up and do things that you'll regret. And just speaking is so much easier. Like in the beach huts and that, you have one chat and like all of everything just goes away. You know, you bottle shit up, you might want to smack someone, or you know, you're mad, you want to take it out on someone. You know, as soon as you have that just a chat with a mate or whatever, you know, like it's instantly just calms you down, and it does help. I came out and said, look, it does help. Like you need to do it.
Yeah.
And it's rewarding, you know, like seeing your mates, you know, take that upon them and say, fuck, this does help. And like everyone, like every man doesn't want to do it, but at the end of the day, like it helps. Yeah. It definitely helps.
Of course. And that's like a whole social construct of Australian culture, especially with your upbringing and alcohol being such a prominent factor in our culture and relationships and
probably like everyone, you know, it's just the Australian way, you know, like, and us growing up in that generation.
But the generations are changing, and this is the good part. And then oh my God, that's bit my tongue. You've experienced that yourself. I kind of want to dive into you guys tackling the whole construct of watching your relationship unfold on TV together. I think now watching your relationship unfold on national TV and seeing the mistakes and seeing the lessons and who you are as a person now, how are you guys supporting each other moving forward into your relationship with who you guys are now? Because they're two very different people from when you were before.
I think the main thing is communication and just being so open and honest. And even like one factor that I'll bring up is Coachella. In our last relationship, there is no way that we would trust each other to go across and, you know, go to America on our own without each other. But yesterday, and I was quite nervous because I haven't done something like this yet, but I was quite nervous to ask him about it, or not ask, but tell him that I got this opportunity to go. And I did, and obviously it was hard, but we got through it, like, and I was so glad that I did just open up and talk to him about it, and he just pretty much said that, like, yeah, I'm proud of you and stuff like that. So,
which is beautiful.
Yeah, which wouldn't have happened in our last relationship. There is no way.
Do you still find that sometimes when things do trigger you, that your initial response wants to
definitely
react in that way, but now you're
yeah, well, it almost like goes to start, and then you're like, oh, and then, you know, you take a bit of a breath, and you know, like it's sort of flushing out, but it's still there. It's always going to still be there, you know, like
those feelings. I always say, like, your traumas are never going to change, but identifying those triggers and changing that pattern behavior, that's the lesson. The lesson never changes the trauma. It never erases that. But the way that you react is because of that lesson. Yeah. And I think, definitely. I mean, I'm proud of you guys for how far you've come. Thanks, and Bill. I think even just for Kye, like giving Kye a moment, that's a massive lesson to learn. And you as a person, besides that relationship, like outside of you and Yana, is clearly so different.
Yeah. Oh. 100%. Like, I think if people say that they knew me 5-6 years ago, like, they don't know me at all now, really. Like,
are you proud of yourself, Kye?
I am, definitely. Like, I think I've grown up so much, and yeah, definitely proud of myself and where I am at now. Like, 100%. I never thought I'd be here, you know. I thought, you know, I'm just going to do what I can do, like, you know, and just experiencing this big life change and everything. Like, I'm definitely proud of myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from thinking going to jail is normal to now opening up on a fucking podcast.
No, it's crazy. Like, I would have never thought, even coming here today, like, I'm so surprised by the way that he was able to open up. Yeah. Because I haven't heard stuff like this before. Yeah. But he's actually been able to speak it from the heart.
Are you proud of him?
Very, of course.
Should
Super
be.
proud. Go on.
But like genuinely, like as this has like developed as a relationship as people from what it was, that's something to be celebrated. That's not something to be deterred or receive backlash over, because you guys clearly have grown so much as people.
Yeah.
And just even telling each other, that, like, it's hard. Like, it's hard to talk about that. I mean, I would love for you just to even like express that to him, and for you to express that to Yana, like how much that change has meant to you guys.
No, yeah, people. Definitely. Like the change, it was unreal, and not only just noticing it myself, but seeing my family notice it, seeing my friends.
Say it to Kye. Say it to Kye.
He's like, heard it.
Yeah,
but
heard
it all before.
Just like appreciate
I'm so
that.
Of you,
love you, babe.
Oh, you've done such a good job.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Buddy.
Thanks,
but like seriously though, like
yeah,
that appreciation for the growth is so important. And I just want to hear it like as well, just like from your heart. Just explain it from your heart. What has that growth meant to you?
Well, it's meant my future. Like my future is now with Kye, and that's how I see it. And I think if we didn't go on this experience, like, yeah, we wouldn't have found our way back to each other. And if we did, wouldn't be in this position, because we would still be in those toxic ways. So I'm so grateful that everything did happen the way it did, and that we were able to push through. And not only in the villa, but after watching it all, like we were so supportive of each other. And even through the struggles of watching it, and me being upset and Kye getting the backlash, we were still able to stand strong with each other. And I think that in itself was such a big lesson for us, not 100%. Just the villa, but after. Like that was 50% of the growth.
And I think like the same would go for you as well. Like you're watching a girl you love so much go through everything that she did, and you still have her.
Oh, a massive eye opener, like watching it back and seeing her upset, and not being able to change anything that you did, or, having to relive it with all that backlash, and her stick around and tell me everything's going to be okay, that's that love that before you didn't have, that's
exactly
bringing that in. And, that was awesome to see, at the start, I was like, fuck, what have I done? Like, this is heavy. And then, after a bit, she's always comforting me and telling me everything's fine, it'll blow over. That sort of just made me realise, well, I don't need to listen to what anyone else is saying about me. It's just us, and we know what the ending is of the story. And just having that there was just so amazing.
I think in a sense you guys have been given that opportunity to have a second shot at your relationship, and as very different people. I would honestly say it's like more of a new relationship.
Yeah.
Pretty
definitely.
much, sort of, yeah.
It's nothing like our old one.
It's like something you need to nurture and not forget that you were so lucky. Like, both of you are so lucky. Like, you're so lucky that you have a man that's able to identify that growth and go through that growth. And you're so lucky to have you. I said to Yana when she was going through this, you were the most genuine girl I think I've ever met. You just have that energy. And I think even it hurt me watching it. Like, I got upset watching it, because I just know how special she is and how much she has to offer as a person. The fact you guys are able to nurture that and bring that into this new relationship is beautiful. And that's something that should be celebrated and not brought down at all.
Amen.
Amen.
Love you, sweetie.
Love you, babe.
So I think for the future, you guys are in a very different aspect of life now. Pretty much new jobs. Like,
yeah, it's actually pretty crazy. I was talking to Gabby about this. Like, not only are we like in a relationship, but we're pretty much like working together now for our jobs, like social media. Like, it's just a whole different scheme. Really.
Yeah. There's now so much potential to work together
Mm-hmm.
on this stuff. What's in the plans? Where do you want to go with this?
I think it's been a very big change for Kye. I think he would have seen the money that I was making before the show and thought that it was going to be that easy. But it hasn't really been. And I feel like for guys it's harder, like it always has been.
Oh, there's no money in this industry.
Nah.
Yeah, for guys.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah.
But look, for me personally, I just want to keep hustling, and I think we tried a little bit. We got some brand deals, like we've been working a little bit. We're getting stuff here and there, but honestly, just hustling to buy a house, settle. He's moved into my house now.
Have you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I noticed.
Apparently.
Apparently I can't leave.
Well, I noticed because I went away on holiday and he was still in my house. And also, I cleared half my wardrobe so that he could fit his clothes.
How are you guys finding that?
It's actually good.
It's good. It's so much easier just like knowing that that person's always going to come back home, and like especially with our jobs, like I always
Make
need
your
to be talking.
food all day,
Yeah,
breakfast,
he
lunch,
cooks
dinner.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Love
Someone
it.
to whinge at.
Yeah. Always
Always
love a whinge.
whinging, mate.
That's a relationship. That's what you learn to love about
you need
everyone.
A bit of that. Or else
Yeah.
it's not fun.
You have to love each other's flaws. Like,
Yeah. We also got a pussycat.
Yana and Animals.
Yeah, well, it was actually meant to go to my grandparents. One of my workmates, his cat had kittens, and he goes, and my nan and pop said, yeah, we'll have it anyway. So I end up getting this kitten, and then
she called me
and we
before
don't want to get it.
Christmas.
We don't want to get it anymore. And I'm like, what? And then
And
we were
he'd
working.
bring it home to me, and I was like, well, you can't take it back now. Like,
Well, he was working.
This is
then, I
after
was
you
going to give
bought-
it back.
You bought another one, didn't you?
And she bought a rabbit.
no, I bought...
Oh, this is the same cat.
Yeah, this is Dolly.
I
the
know. I
little
can't keep up. She'll call me literally before Christmas and was like, "I'm getting a baby goat." So what?
I was going to get Jamie a
carry
baby
on.
goat for Christmas, but then I realised I need to get two because they're meant to be in doubles.
Dog.
You
cat,
live in
horse,
suburbia, like.
bloody-
Dude, and I travel so much. Thank
Yeah.
God I have Jamie to look after them.
She's already got 2 cats.
She's got 3.
3.
We've got 4 cats, 2 bunnies.
Fucking
I
ridiculous.
It's a zoo,
yeah, it literally is.
but I love it.
As long as you love it, I guess like that's you're living there now, mate.
Oh,
So you kind of got no choice. God love it. But I just want to say thank you guys for opening up. I think there's a lot in store for you guys in these next years, few months, even next few weeks with Coachella. I'm excited to see where this goes and what this develops into.
Well,
See how
thanks,
fast-
Bill.
thank you, mate.
Who knows? Baby might be on the way.
Hope
Who
not. Not
knows?
yet. we don't need another animal yet.
That's by the house.
yet.
Another
But-
pigeon.
I need a rock first.
You what?
I need a rock.
Yes.
I need a holiday.
Yeah, a holiday to put a rock on the finger.
Yeah.
Holiday alone.
Who knows? But guys, thank you so much for opening
Thanks,
up.
Bill.
Thank
It
you,
means the
mate.
world.
I'm so glad we had the opportunity to be able to open up, especially Kye. I feel like he hasn't had this opportunity yet.
Oh, I
Yeah.
still don't really do it, you know.
No, you
Sorta-
did.
You did
You
so
did
well,
insane, mate.
sweetie.
Yeah, I still don't really do it, but, you know. I
It's
try
alright.
not to, anyway.
It's right.
I'm
That's
still
what life's
working on
about.
it. Still working on it. When the camera's on me, it just comes out.
And you know what's funny? You never stop working on it. You've got
Years.
the rest of your life to work on it and develop.
Sorry. Sorry,
I thought I was gonna do that all day, and I didn't
This
even do it.
You're
I haven't
so
done it.
hard.
I
I got a
haven't.
boner.
Oh.
This bitch. Guys, I love both of you so much.
Love
Thank
you, Bill.
you.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
Enjoy, guys.
was a
Now,
pleasure.
guys, just wait because there is so much more for you guys to find out. Make sure you're subscribed to the Spotify subscriptions and see what else is in store with our next guest. Guys, do not forget to follow us on Instagram at Sensory Overload and our YouTube channel. Make sure to leave your comments and questions so we can answer them. I'm Bill Barker, and this is an I Want It Yesterday production, and this episode was produced by Nicholas Shabinsky. I'll see you next time.